So here we are starting our next adventure to the Pinnacle and a couple of other things before we stop in Kentucky for a good night's rest. If you haven't seen video 1, I encourage you to watch it. I will leave a link below down in the description. So we head through the tunnel, the infamous tunnel, to the Kentucky side. We stopped at the gift store where Dad purchased a magnet for Joan, and I had to buy a haunted book because that's what I do. Yeah, so you'll get to see the sights from the Pinnacle and another area where a cannon stood, and then we're going to head on to our motel for the night and start day 2. Yeah, because I remember seeing that big crag up there.
Boonesborough, Kentucky.
Build under a mountain without knocking the whole damn thing down. I don't understand. That's why I'm not an engineer. Look at those fans are going. Turbos or something. So we're in Kentucky? Kentucky. Trailer Park City. Wow. It's a huge trailer park community down there. I don't know if people are living in there, if people are renting those out for gas, or what's going on. Elevation 2,440 feet. Okay, so Kentucky is supposed to be like Kentucky. I've been saying that and I'm like, what in the heck's a Kentucky? The Appalachian Mountains, 600 miles long, 150 miles wide. You are here. Wow, look at all them cars. Remember, Pinnacle is closed at sundown. During a thunderstorm, move away from the overlook. Lightning strikes here often. Oops. Hey, look out. That thing ain't even. Look at. Dang.
You broke it?
I think they need to fix their railing. They got bathrooms over here too.
Sounds as bad as that last trail was.
No, heck no. We can do it.
Hey, they can go to work mountain on this one.
Oh, hey. This is the luxury hiking right here. Wrong one?
Ridge trail. You don't want to go on Ridge trail.
Okay. Like you're getting onto me like when I was little.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No, that's the steep trail. This is for the wimp. That's for the. Take that trail right there. That's for the 40-year-olds.
Oh, shit.
We ain't 40 anymore.
Stay on trails. Wondering if that's fog down there or somebody's actually burning something. They're not supposed to be burning right now. I know, like.
Down at the bottom when we first got here, told you we filled that rock up there. That's that rock.
Got that big white looking rock. It was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's it.
So we were like down that way, right? Yeah. Wow. So this is if you want to see everything for the wimps. Is that what you're saying? Instead of going on the mountain like we did. Generations have enjoyed this view. Sightseers in the 30s climbed to join. Opened in 1929. Have y'all noticed this is in the design of a heart?
Yes.
It comes in and around.
She's so adorable.
Jess, can you see?
He's country as I'll get out. You know, he wears hat everywhere he goes.
That
My daughter, she pulled off her Amish.
power line cut?
Oh yeah, I see it now.
That's where we were just
Okay.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Right there at the top.
Yeah.
They can't do no talking. I said, you can't tell your husband what to do.
Because we were looking down and seeing that.
Well, it's time to
Well, you
sit.
know,
Yeah.
we're not supposed to do that either.
My husband said, or her husband said, time to sit.
Did you notice that, Dad? That this is in the shape of a heart? I'm so terrified of heights that this is scaring the bejesus out of me. I'm not kidding. I don't like heights.
See, there's the road going through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And here's her parking lot. See the parking lot was in?
Oh, I'm not going to look down there. That's okay.
I was on the Blue Ridge Parkway one time on my bike, and I stopped at this restaurant and some other bikers, and they talked to a guy with CB. And I said, "What'd you do, lose one of your buddies?" And he said, "He's down there in the valley." I said, "Well, what's he doing down there?" "Well, he's afraid of heights. He won't come up here." On a motorcycle.
Oh, God. Can you imagine? Wow.
He don't call Middlesborough.
That's what?
Middlesborough,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
And he's so country,
Yeah.
you can't talk plain language with him. I had my own conversation, but
Where's that tent still there?
This is Cumberland Gap, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
This is the little town right here.
Yeah.
See, it's a huge town.
that's the only
But
guy.
Middlesborough is a lot bigger
So
on
he's
the
in
Kentucky
West
side.
our church.
And Kentucky, and this is Virginia comes in to the point right through. So I don't know if we're in Virginia or Tennessee right now.
Yeah, because when
But
we
they all
came
came
up,
together right over there where we were.
yeah. So we went down, went through and came out the
Wish I brought my phone with me. I could look at it, maybe see where the state lines are.
yeah. Ooh.
Think about that. Wouldn't you just like to jump off here with a hang glider?
Hell no, Dad. Oh my God. Mm-mm. Well, it had to land. I mean, if they're throwing shells to get rid of it, got to be landing in somebody's yard, somebody's fields or something.
Nobody gonna go to the bottom of these rocks. Like a 20-pound cannon shell backed up.
Wow.
Even a hardcore relic hunter think twice about that.
Wow, that's pretty, but so scary. I don't do heights. Not really well. I'm just here to tell you. I like these people, Dad. Look at them. They're gonna stand right here. What the heck?
What?
Look at the, I mean, like, consider the fact that they're all down here in their nice Sunday best, walking down the rocks over here. That's over here, you know, like down off. How did they even climb down there, them women? And why were they not scared to death? Well, I mean, let's see. There's somebody hanging there. Golly, bum,
And the Dixie Highway is part of the Dixie Highway.
Yeah. Sheesh. Oh, they call it Chimney Rock. Death Rock. That's what I call it. Because that isn't this, right? They're not in the picture from here, right? They're in the picture from across, from over the side, aren't they? Because I don't think that's where they were standing, but I don't know. If it's right there, it's not too bad. We've encountered our friends.
Yeah,
We did.
So you did too. You followed us, ain't you?
Definitely following you.
That's pretty.
That slide down that mountain is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a piece of cardboard. We just put it in there, and button went right off.
That's the way to do it.
I said we could go rolling, but we might hit a rock and hurt ourselves on the way down.
Hey, that's where you learn to steer.
Yeah. There you go.
This is a ladder way out of here.
All right.
Are you still filming?
Boundaries settled.
Here's Virginia,
Okay.
Kentucky.
So weird. So at some point when we were walking, we probably crossed over here to get up there.
Well, the line would come up probably right there. So somewhere before we got to
Before we got up here to Kentucky.
there's Kentucky Lake. Right about down here is where the Boone Monument is.
Oh, okay,
So we
yeah.
crossed over into Kentucky before we got to it.
We were in
And
Virginia.
then we're in Virginia the whole damn trip up to here.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, because we got to the top, I was like, hey, wait a minute, we have to be in
So
Virginia.
here
How did
you
that
are now
happen?
in Virginia. We are in Virginia right now.
Exactly right now. Wow, isn't that beautiful?
You are in Virginia.
The exact spot where Tennessee meet is not easy to see on the ridge line below, nor was it easy to determine. 1665, Great Britain King Charles II declared his Virginia colony was to be separated from his Carolina colony by draw line of latitude, yada, yada, yada. So surveyors started at the Atlantic Ocean in 1728 to run the line westward of Mississippi. Decades of boundary disputes have followed between Virginia, North Carolina, later Tennessee, and Kentucky joined the fray. The most rugged segment of the old Carolina-Virginia boundary here and the Cumberland Mountains was not resolved till 1803. And what's that walking around down there?
Sure.
Yeah.
See, at one time, Virginia went from the coast all the way to the Mississippi River.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
North Carolina went from the coast all the way to the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
But the reason they split the stuff up was that it was too large of an area to govern.
Oh, yeah.
You had to break it up into smaller areas so it could govern.
Makes sense. Hello. Hello.
How you?
Good, how are you?
See how much easier this walk was.
Oh, yeah.
Having to go up and then up a hill and back down.
I'd like to go to Roanoke, Virginia one day and see if I can solve the mystery of what happened to the lost colony of Roanoke. The lost colony of Roanoke. Did they settle in with the Indians? Were they killed by the Indians? I think they mingled with the Indians because they were starving to death.
Was that the one where they dropped them off to make a colony? When they came back, nobody was there?
Yes.
That was the one.
That freaked me out in school
Yeah.
when I hear about that. But what happened was they he left his daughter Virginia Dare, was the grandbaby, and he went back to England to get supplies. And Queen Elizabeth commandeered his ship and said no because the Spanish Armada was coming in at that time. And so every boat had to be used for her fight with the Spanish. So he had to wait till all that was over to get his boat back, to get the supplies to go back and see them. By then they was gone.
I think when he come back, he got lost and didn't know where it was.
And he went there and there was one word etched in on a tree. It said Croatan. And nobody really knows what that means, if it means they went with the Croatan Indians or what that means. But they were gone, never to be found. But after that, there was reports of Indians with blue eyes and different things like that. So I think they intermingled with the Indians. Fort McKick Trail.
Have you got your computer with you?
I do. It's in the back.
Downloading what I got on
I
my
sure
phone
do.
to it on the way home or something. Get that done.
We can watch fun stuff tonight or whatever you want on it. You can see my little computer she bought me. 2 armies and 1 railroad. So Confederate had it a little ways. The stairs to your right to Civil War earthworks that overlook the gap. So is this earthwork Confederate or both? Well, it shows.
Would have to be Confederate.
Yeah, it shows a little Confederate flag.
Yeah, these would be Confederate.
Okay. Hey, Daddy, these rails don't move on this one. I started to say, don't fall after what we've been through already. We're gonna make it. Ooh, these are dirty. Can you imagine being up here looking down? How'd you see the people you were shooting at? They look like thousands of little ants. Oh.
I just don't see how it'd be possible for anybody to attack something this steep and successful. You just couldn't do it. That's why nobody ever tried.
Mountains just too steep and too rugged, wouldn't they?
You'd have to have a rope to climb this thing. People shooting at you, there's no way.
Yeah, that's true.
So they just waited until they got bored and their beams ran out, and they said, well, the hell with this. Let's blow everything up and get out of here.
Wow, that's a beautiful overlook right there.
Yeah. That's just one of them. It's all over the place up here.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah.
But the track, I know where the track is on the Tennessee side, but not on the Kentucky side.
Well, this says Tennessee and Virginia. So was it even in Kentucky?
Yeah. Yeah, it come through the, well, looks like it goes up in Virginia, don't it?
Yeah, it says Army of Northern Virginia.
I guess it goes in Virginia.
Did it like go around the water, I guess, somehow? I don't know. This says
Look, we are here.
yeah, and this
But
is
there is a railroad. All right, here's the railroad.
if we're here, there's a railroad right here in front of us, right?
Well, this ain't the railroad in front of us. We are here.
Oh, I see.
But there's a railroad right down here on the Tennessee side. I don't know if it stops down there or what.
Interesting. I woke up the next morning very early. I was really sore with my back. Didn't really rest well. So I didn't get much sleep, but I was able to get up and enjoy the sun coming up over the mountains. Now we are on to our next adventure to Boonesborough. After that, we will visit Fort Wildcat. I didn't get the sign, but I will. Really?
Tent.
In the tent, down by the river. Some people will get that and some people won't. Oh wow, they got it all decked out for Halloween. Halloween fest. Look at all them ghosties. I don't see nobody. So the reconstruction area, they let it be that, but then they just turned in the original fort area into a campground.
Yeah.
That's crazy, huh?
Fort campground.
You would think they'd leave the original fort the original fort.
There's the river.
Yeah, I seen it.
Kentucky
Yeah.
River right there.
So the fort was probably where we're at right now.
No, it's right over here.
Oh, look at the steam coming off the water.
I just gotta remember where it's at. It's right
So that's the Kentucky River.
I wish the fort was open because they got that movie in there. You could have seen it.
Well, I could find it on YouTube or something. The end of the Boone Trail. From North Carolina to Kentucky. Let's see what this said. Fort Boonesborough site. No metal detecting allowed. There's all kinds of like monuments and things. So here's the water. Right over there. Dad said a long time ago, he told me, he said, I wouldn't have never put a fort here. It'll flood, and he said it did. Look at that tree. Wow. The thing is old. Just makes you wonder how many people have seen this tree. In memory of the pioneers of Kentucky. While it was still wet, people etched in their names. Side of the fort. Here's their names here. Daniel, Rebecca, Jemima, Sawyer, William, some Callaways, Clays. What you reckon? How many different people that tree's seen? No telling, huh? So let's use our imaginations and go back in time to see what this fort really looked like.
During the siege of Boonesborough, the Indians tried to tunnel their way under the forts in the river.
Huh.
And the rain made the tunnel collapse and the siege fell. We can walk, there's some stuff down here you need to look at.
Yeah, and I see some of the signs over here too. Look at all them signs. There is stuff everywhere.
Well, you followed it from Cumberland Gap all the way to Boonesborough. The end of the Boone Trail.
Whoa, the ground's sinking.
All the settlers' kids played in that playground right over there.
Yeah. That's an old playground. The Divine Elm. Here on May 28, 1775, the first official Christian worship service in Kentucky was conducted by the Reverend John Lyth, representing the Church of England, to replace the original, which fell in 1828. This elm tree was planted by the Boone Family Association, 1927, near the site of the Divine Elm. At its roots was placed earth from the 37 historic American shrines. In honor of men of courage, faith, and vision, investors in a glorious dream of winning the wilderness for the white man, captains of industry, pioneers, and colonizers, advance guard of an enlightened civilization of the West, state and town builders, founders of the Commonwealth of Transylvania, of Boonesborough and Henderson, Kentucky, and of Nashville, Tennessee, the co-partners of the Transylvania Company, organized at the Hillsborough, North Carolina, January 6, 1775. It says African Americans in early Kentucky numbered 16% of the residents. Racism is the historical record left them invisible. They left their stories for us to rediscover generations later. The Transylvania Company drew whites, their enslaved, and a few free men of color to Kentucky in 1775. They sought to create new opportunities on land purchased from the Cherokee. Richard Henderson and hired Daniel Boone to cut a road from the Holston River in Tennessee to this site. With Boone's party were his daughter Susanna and at least 2 enslaved people. Sam, a man enslaved by William Twitty, did not survive the journey. Native Americans killed him in an attack 15 miles from Fort Boonesborough. Dolly, the first recorded black woman in Kentucky, endured the grueling trek. As an enslaved woman of Richard Callaway, Dolly had many responsibilities on the journey and at Boonesborough. These included cooking meals, tending fires, scraping fresh hides, and preparing pack animals. In November 1775, she gave birth to the first child born in Fort Boonesborough, a boy named Frederick Callaway. Frederick's likely father sold the boy to his associate Nathaniel Hart. Jack, another of Hart's enslaved men, was one of the first blacks to reach land south of the Kentucky River. He was present at the Treaty of Sycamore Shoals in 1775. Jack served as a guide for Boone and helped construct Fort Boonesborough. He was a noted hunter and marksman. In 1782, Jack loaned his long rifle to the fight against the Shawnee and their allies at Blue Licks. The battle resulted in a rout of the militia
losing the loaned rifle. To honor Jack, the state donated a replica of his lost rifle to the Kentucky Historical Society in 2005. Monk Estill was legendary in Fort Boonesborough and Estill Station. Monk arrived at the siege of 1778. He began life as a chattel property, but his enslaver's son freed him after inheriting him. Monk was very skilled at making gunpowder and gardening, and famous for his heroics. In March 1782, he carried a wounded militiaman over 20 miles to safety after the Battle of Estill's defeat. Often African-American contributions to his Kentucky's history have failed to be acknowledged. African Americans lack basic human rights and face peril, suffering, and death. The perspective is essential to our understanding of the Commonwealth's narrative and the founding of America. So, this is supposed to be, this says photographic image of the original oil painting called Dolly, 1775. And this is supposed to be Monk Estill. This is the Transylvania Memorial, which I guess is this right here. The first Christian service in Kentucky, May 28, 1775. Convoke a prayer. Indian of the nation of Shawnees, engraved based on the earliest known portrait of a Shawnee. British and French forces fought for control of the Ohio River Valley in the colonial era. By the 1750s, native tribes living west of the Appalachians had built relationships with Europeans through trade, diplomacy, and warfare. The British defeat of the French of the 7 Years' War shifted the balance of power by 1763. The Treaty of Fort Stanwix in 1768, the Iroquois Confederacy gave up most of present-day Kentucky and West Virginia to the British. Virginians believed this opened western territory for settlement. The Shawnees, who viewed these lands as theirs, refused to recognize the treaty. Resulting tensions exploded in Lord Dunmore's War in 1774. The Virginians defeated the Shawnees at the Battle of Point Pleasant. In a later treaty, Shawnee Chief Cornstalk gave up Shawnee claims south of the Ohio River. Cherokees also claimed territory in the region. In March 1775, several Cherokee leaders sold about 20 million acres to the Transylvania Company. Not all Cherokees supported the sale. The purchase defied Virginia and North Carolina law. The Transylvania Company hired Daniel Boone to blaze a trail for white settlers. This led to the creation of Fort Boonesborough. Although the company failed to maintain any legal claim to the purchased land, white immigrants continued to arrive in the late 1770s. Conflict increased in those years. That was because the Shawnees and other tribes viewed this as an invasion of their lands. Military campaigns during and after the American Revolution drove Shawnees and Cherokees out of Kentucky by the mid-1790s. So, Dad says there's more down there to see. Let's go look down here at some of this. Beautiful day out here. Cold as crap, but beautiful. Building Fort Boonesborough. Daniel Boone and his trail crew arrived at the beginning of April 1775 and began building a fort. They had finished several small rough cabins when Richard Henderson and 40 men arrived a few weeks later. Henderson promptly relocated the fort to higher ground. Let's see some of that. Like in all frontier forts, Boonesborough was a defensive structure meant to provide refuge in case of attack. Progress on the fort was slow. Men worked on it for a short time, then left to plant crops and build their own cabins. The danger of Indian attacks seemed to have faded, so to Henderson's disgust, the fort's complete was delayed. You see that? What did the fort look like? And that was a postcard from Boonesborough in 1907. You can see the river here. That's fine as John. Historic drawings and residents' descriptions tell us the Fort Boonesborough was longer than it was wide. Occupants stated there were block houses at each corner and shed roof cabins, some of them double inside the fort. A wall formed by sections of upright logs in the back of the cabins enclosed the fort. Residents entered through gates in each of the long walls. A double cabin stood near the center of the fort, as did a well dug to provide water in times of siege. By early 1777, the fort was fully enclosed and 2 block houses had been constructed. When Daniel Boone returned to the fort after escaping from the Shawnee in June of 1778, he found it in a bad state of defense. Fearing an attack, the residents hurriedly repaired the walls and built 2 more blockhouses. Oh, look, it's just scan to learn more. I don't know if it works through me filming that, but maybe you can scan it. Open in the wilderness. Land speculator Richard Henderson's Transylvania Company had obtained thousands of acres from the Cherokee, all of the land bounded by Kentucky, Cumberland, and Ohio rivers. In 1775, a few non-Indians had ventured west of the Appalachian Mountains. Henderson needed to entice potential settlers to buy land in the vast wilderness. He needed a trail that would accommodate pack horses and make the journey less forbidding. So here's Camp Fort Boonesborough along the river. And got the Boone trace. And that's where we started in our journey. And we went, let's see, we slept there last night and then came here. When you exit the main park entrance, turn left onto Kentucky 388, you're on the Boone trace. Henderson and his backers hired noted explorer Daniel Boone to undertake the project. His crew followed game Indian and long hunter trails, marking the route north. Cutting trees and cane were necessary. Boone led a party of more than 30 free white men, enslaved black men, and at least 2 women, an enslaved black woman, and Boone's daughter, Susanna, wife of a crew member, all played a role in opening the first trail for pioneer traffic in what would become Kentucky. This is an oil sketch of Daniel Boone, made in 1820. It took Boone's crew a month to cut a trail from Long Island on the Holston River, present-day Kingsport, Tennessee, to the site. On April 1st, 1775, those who had survived arrived here where Boone and Henderson had decided a fort would be built. Boonesborough was the first capital of the West. Boone Trace made it possible for settlers to traverse the mysterious and dangerous unknown and begin new lives. More than 200,000 pioneers followed the trail into Kentucky. It served travelers until the Wilderness Road, which evolved out of the Boone Trace, became the main wagon route after 1796. No trace remained. It fell into disuse after the threat posed by the British and their Indian allies had vanished. The long walls and cabins decayed, and the rock in the chimneys was scavenged for use elsewhere. Silt deposits by periodic flooding covered what remained. In 1987, University of Kentucky archaeologist Nancy O'Malley began investigating the site of Fort Boonesborough. Before conducting the archaeological investigation, she sifted through hundreds of pages of historic documents describing the fort and its location. Archaeological fieldwork yielded the remains of dry-laid stone foundation and a number of late 18th century artifacts. Investigations in 2012 uncovered more of the stone foundation and associated hearth and more artifacts. So here's some of the household items. So it gives you an idea. So we're standing here, the Pioneer Monument, which is, where am I at? It's right over here. So that was kind of inside of it. So all this was inside the fort itself. Here's some more personal items. By the end of 2014 field season, 4 of the cabins along the east, west, and south had been identified. Historical records documented a double cabin near the center. She concluded the stone foundation and hearth were remains of that structure. Said the double cabin was a dog trot, 2 cabins separated by a breezeway under a common roof. Squire Boone, Daniel's brother, occupied one side of the double cabin and had a gunsmithing shop in the breezeway. Records indicate that either David Gass or Richard Calloway family occupied the other side. So this is the fire hearth and pit, dry laid foundation. This is a postcard of the Boonesborough Resort. 1925. Pictured at are the hotel and restaurant. From frontier to resort. This is people relaxing at one of the cabins they had out here. And this is when they made a state park out of it. This was a classic excursion to the Pioneer Monument in 1915. And that's the new fort, I guess, they reconstructed. Three girls abducted. One hot July day in 1776, 3 teenage girls took the only canoe at Boonesborough out of the river with disastrous results. Fanny Calloway, Betsy Calloway, and Jemima Boone drifted too close to the eastern bank where 5 Indians waited. They rushed into the water, grabbed the canoe, and dragged it ashore. The girls yelled as the men forced them out of the canoe and up a steep bank. As the Indians fled with their captives, the girls' fathers rushed from the fort and organized a pursuit. And a Cherokee was one of them. It said, while Daniel Boone gathered his men, 11-year-old John Gass swam across the river and retrieved the canoe. Meanwhile, Colonel Richard Calloway and 10 mounted men forded the river and galloped toward Lower Blue Licks, hoping to intercept the Indians. Boone's party followed the girls' tracks on foot, stopping only when darkness fell. So this is like a depiction of the girls being kidnapped. The deliverance of the daughters. The next day, the tracks led to a thick stand of river cane. The next day, the tracks led into a thick stand of river cane where Indians knew they would be impossible to follow. Boone gambled. He detoured around the canoe, hoping to pick up traces of the girls and their captors on the other side. 2 days later, Boone found their tracks on a buffalo path. Not long afterward, the men smelled smoke and roast and bison. They carefully crept within range and fired at the Indians, who fled as the rescuers swarmed the camp. So here's some more artifacts. A mid-19th century engraving of Simon Kenton saving the life of Daniel Boone. Siege of Fortsboro. Let's see. On April 24th, there were only 22 riflemen in the fort, and a large group of Indians, between 50 and 100, staged a successful ruse, drew a party out of the fort, and attacked them. The Indians killed 1 man, wounded 4, including Boone. Seeing his friend in danger, Simon Kenton charged out of the safety of the fort and into the melee. He killed 1 or more Indians fighting to reach Boone, who he dragged to safety. A month later, 21 men held the fort against 200 Indians during the 3-day siege. And that's the siege. In February of 1778, Shawnees captured Daniel Boone, 30 others from Boonesborough who were collecting salt at the Blue Licks. During the captivity, Boone learned of plans to attack Fort Boonesborough. His timely escape that June allowed the fort to prepare. In September, British and Canadian soldiers and 400 warriors, led by Chief Blackfish, laid siege to Boonesborough for 9 days. A fort's entire complement of men, women, and children fought off repeated attacks. Their successful defense of Fort Boonesborough helped save the western frontier from British expansion. So I know you told me about, the Indians sieging the place, but I didn't know the British was involved.
Oh, yeah, they were heavily involved. And it's like you're talking about Simon Kenton. Remember that book I told you, The Frontiersman?
Yeah.
He was a central character in that
Oh,
book.
okay.
He came in from the Ohio.
Oh.
He didn't come in through Cumberland.
Yeah.
Simon Kenton came in through Ohio. He was the very first to come in and start settling. But he was settling the cane. They call it the cane breaks.
Yeah.
And it was actually on the Ohio River on the south bank. The Shawnee had the north bank, and the settlers they stuck to the south bank. But yeah, he was heavily involved with Daniel Boone and everything, saved his life and all that.
Wow.
That's a great book. It takes you. He left out of Fort Pitt, which is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
That's where Washington tried to build a fort, and then the French beat him to it, and before it's over with the French and Indian War, or the 7 Years' War, as it was called in Europe, started there.
Okay.
In that area. See this marker here?
Oh, I didn't show that on the one.
Shut that door and we'll lock it.
Okay.
See that marker there?
Yeah.
That's important.
The Sycamore Hollow.
Yeah. I took a picture of it for you. This is Sycamore Hollow. And you read there and it'll tell you what I've been telling you the whole time.
Yeah.
When I came down here and I looked where the original fort was, I thought, what the hell were they thinking?
Yeah.
This thing's going underwater. And somebody came up and said, hey dude, this thing's going underwater. So they moved it up here.
The area surrounding this marker was known as Sycamore Hollow. Daniel Boone and a small group came here. CA April 1st, 1775, began construction of rough log huts when Colonel Richard Henderson arrived. Fear flooding caused him to have the location of the fort moved 300 yards to higher ground. I did read that on something else over there.
Let's go down into Sycamore.
This hollow became the center of activity for Boonesborough. The located here were several sulfur and freshwater springs. Area around stream was known as the Salt Lick, where animals came for water and salt. This marks the site of the last giant sycamore tree, removed in 1932. 4 or 5 men could stand in its shell. Wow. There's something about Colonel Richard Calloway. It says he served in the French and Indian Wars and the Revolutionary War. He was a member of the House of Burgess in Virginia. He was killed by Indians March 8, 1780, while building the ferry, and he is buried here. Does that mean he's buried right in that spot or nearby? Oh, he's buried near here. Oh, okay. License the first ferry.
See, why would anybody build a fort down here in its low ground? That blew my mind.
Yeah. Wow, this ground is soft as everything.
I camped down here when it was muddy and
Well, it doesn't look like it was much further, so why didn't they do higher ground to start with? It wouldn't have took them that far from the salt licks, just to go up a few more feet.
it was only like 300 yards.
Yeah.
I guess they were lazy. They didn't want to be far from the salt licks. They tried to right by the river.
Yeah, yeah.
But one was the water.
And you can see how much higher where they moved it. Whew. I sure wore my boots again today. Daggone. Trying to find a good place to walk over. I'm wearing my tennis shoes today. Yeah. Yeah. They're standing in water right now over here.
A little bit of rain, just lowland.
Wow.
Can't figure out.
Probably right here.
They're supposed to be marked this there was markers here. It might have been this gully right here that was the salt lick thing.
Yeah. Ooh, what was that? Big old rock. Oh, shoot. I have a feeling that this might have been it, maybe.
Well, it was right in here somewhere.
Because they've got this like marked off, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got all that stuff, I think.
I know,
But it was right in here.
look at those trees. Oh my gosh, they're so white.
And see that gully right there?
Yeah.
I think that was right in here someplace. That was the salt lick.
Yeah.
And it's right in here in Sycamore Hollow in this low ground is where they started building the original fort.
Yeah.
And then 20 days later somebody come in there and pointed out that they were messing up big time.
Wow.
Moved it to higher ground.
Those trees are so
There
pretty.
was some sense. I can't believe Daniel Boone ever let them get started in a place like this. He should have known better than that.
Huh.
There was markers here somewhere, but I slept within just a few yards of it. Came from in that flat place, but the markers
Yeah.
weren't there, so
Yeah.
pull the markers out.
Well, they've probably done archaeological stuff since you've been here last. Maybe they don't want to
But this gully,
point it out.
this gully right here, you see, couldn't do that, so that's where the salt lick was.
Yeah. Makes
Salt
sense.
licks all over the place, and you see lines everywhere, salt licks, this or that. Blue licks is just one of the most famous.
Oh, there's a boat ramp. Wow, look how pretty that picture is. You can go straight down the water right there. Park closed at 10. Please be out. Road ends in water. Always be aware of hazardous trees.
There's a tree.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whites on there is pretty, but it does make you wonder. Beware broken limbs, damaged trees. Look up while on the trails. Especially during wind, use caution when selecting a place to camp. Somebody had to have got hurt. Or they wouldn't be.
They wouldn't put that sign.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, you about wore this place out. You want to go camp Wildcat from here?
Okay.
Back to the wilderness.
Back to the wilderness. know. Wait, you're going the right way, I think. Right?
I just passed it.
Oh, did you? Camp Wildcat Wilderness and the Wilderness Road. So Wildcat. Oh, it is, ain't it?
3 miles.
Howling Trace.
Keep in mind, last time I was here, I was on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
A street bike. This road gets kind of rough for a street bike. There's a lot of cops out here.
Dang, this is just freaking one way. We on the Wilderness Trail. All these people. Daggone. It might as well be a one-way road here.
They're drawing meth labs out here on the cops.
Oh, Wilderness Road. From this point to Camp Wildcat. Oh, hell, there's a train, man. What's past that?
What? That's, I don't know what that is. You gotta go across this track.
Old something Wildcat. They got monuments there, they got.
Ain't no double track like we're getting on the other side, are we?
Oh my God. That was rough with him. There's graves right there, man. There's a graveyard. Yeah.
Holy crap, forget the battlefield or the graveyard.
Yeah. Right in somebody's yard. That's what always makes me think, wow, that's crazy. Says Wildcat Happy Hollow, though. Every time I've ever heard of Happy Hollow, that always meant something nefarious. Oh, dear Lord. We don't come across nobody up through here.
How'd you like to ride this on a motorcycle?
Uh-huh.
I did. What, 50-something miles from Cumberland? This is the Wilderness Road. I've driven large portions of it. Most of it's not gravel or nothing. It's just a dirt road. I need to turn that music off so you don't mess with your post.
Nah, I'll probably put some other music over it.
Holy crap! Look at them big leaves. Let's take one of them big leaves home with you.
Big enough. It probably wrap around my whole upper body. Probably them things were so damn big. I swear to God, them leaves was big.
A little deer yesterday. Like
Holy hell! I thought that was somebody rock with somebody standing there. Yeah, that deer came over there at that path, and it looked like for a second it was going to walk to me. I almost stuck my hand out, and I
that
thought,
little fawn was just eating them big old leaves. They're looking at us, she's munching down the leaves.
yeah,
That's the first time I've ever seen deer eat leaves.
yeah. Well, the hell that?
Somebody still done busted up.
You think so? That's a big ass steel. That's pretty down in there in that creek. Look at that.
Oh, hunting. Remember when Daddy bought the farm? Somebody posted a sign out there in the woods. Says no hunting. HUNNING. And Charles said, that means no Germans allowed. Yeah, no hunting.
Wow. We just keep on going up here, don't we? Ride. Even though it was bumpy as hell, I bet it was pretty on the back.
Yeah, but I don't like riding gravels like this.
Yeah.
I'm really nervous. Not a safe thing to be doing.
Did you get beat to death by the leaves?
And tell you how bad I wanted to see this place.
Yeah. Bet it's a smoother path now for you this time, huh?
This is a path. You're walking on the path, or driving on the path right now. They had the Boone. Got all these settlers here. You know, this is the exact path they walked.
And we was on the same path, just in Tennessee, right? We've been on two different parts of it.
In Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Look at the holler down in there.
Across the corner of Virginia to
Mm-hmm.
get to Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Interpretive trail? Does this mean figure the damn trail out yourself?
Yeah, that means they got signs every day.
Interpretive trail.
What went on?
It's so pretty out here.
You don't look at that sign.
Fortin Valley Farm, established 1834. Wow. Focus. Says, when European colonists began to explore westward from Virginia, they saw this as a wild and untamed land. Their settlements in the east provided them with great comfort and safety compared to what they encountered here. To them, this was a wilderness. As wild as the new land was, however, the explorers did not have to find their way completely unaided. They found trails made by native people as well as traces beaten down by herds of bison and other large animals. When Dr. Thomas Walker's party entered what is now Kentucky through Pass or the Gap and the Cumberland Mountain Range, they followed an existing trail known as the War Road or Warrior's Path. Later, explorers and colonists used this trail to pass through the Cumberland Gap. And we saw that map at the other place. And it talks about Daniel Boone coming through. In the late summer of 1861, Union forces set up a camp at the junction of the Wilderness Road and the road leading to Richmond and Lexington. They named their camp Wildcat. When Confederate troops attacked the hilltop camp on October 21st, 1861, they found it impossible to rout the Union soldiers from the Rock Castle Hills. Confederate General Zollicoffer later described Camp Wildcat as a natural fortification almost inaccessible. The Wilderness Road and Camp Wildcat continued to play a role through the war. The camp was used by both Confederate and Union forces as control of this portion of the road shifted between the two armies. Daniel Boone National Forest. But Daddy's like, my deliverance day is coming. After I quit running Jessie around, I get to sit on my sofa and rest like nobody's around. Hospital Rock, private property of the Tate Farm. How about that? Hospital Rock. I wonder what all went on there. Here we go. Oh shit! Oh shit!
Jesus Christ, woman. God damn.
How are we gonna do this?
Running that fast down this road, what the hell are you thinking?
Hiking trails up there and everything, don't they?
Ain't a whole lot here, but you can say you've been to Camp Wildcat.
So dang, every bit of this was battlefield. Union Mills was interrupted about 7 a.m. while I was eating breakfast. General Schoaf rode up, told Colonel Coburn to get his men in line immediately. The enemy was right on us. Andrews met at Hoosier Knob. The first Union casualty. Oh my gosh, they's climbing straight up the mountain, dude. There's the map. Saw a call for withdrawals. Having reconnoitered in the forest under heavy fire, I became satisfied that it could not be carried otherwise than by immense exposure, if at all. So you can kind of take a gander by looking. Confederates must have been trying to come up this hill. They're shooting at them right there. Oh, I didn't go all the way around. I had a couple of them to look at. The loss, 50 to 300. The people of London say the rebels passed through the town with 43 wagon loads of dead and wounded. The official count was 15 killed and 60 wounded. Don't be deceived as to the number killed by us. Well, Wasn't the internet back then, was there? Battles after Wildcat. Of course, y'all know Chickamauga. Been there many times and showed y'all that. Here's Chickamauga. There's where we are right now. I live right there. Dad lives there in Chattanooga. Well, I hope you enjoyed our journey to the Cumberland Gap and through the footsteps of Daniel Boone. Like I said before in the first video, this was great fun with my dad. I really enjoyed it. Even though we were sore and hurting, the second day we weren't as vibrant and bushy-tailed as we were the day before. But I learned a lot on this adventure, and it was different and neat to see the sights. Dad had told me before about Daniel Boone's fort, and he couldn't understand where they originally built it at. I understand now. It's different when you go and you actually see the sites that people tell you about. It gives you a better understanding. So I encourage you to go out, explore, visit local places, drive off, see new sites. It's all good fun. Please like, subscribe, and share. It's a free way to help my channel, and I love you all so much. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays fixing to come up. Love you. Bye-bye.
Right here under something that's out there somewhere, wondering when we'll be departing from here. Anyone else would go back inside, but we set out to walk 1,000 good miles from our hometown, leaving everyone behind as their slow fires died down. Once we left, we found it harder and harder to slow down, 'cause we set out to walk 1,000 good miles from our hometown, 1,000 good miles. The years have come and gone, but we're right where we feel we belong. And anyone else would have turned back by now, but we set out to walk 1,000 good miles.
Yeah, you made your way to Daniel Boone. Yeah, come here and you sit down, Boone.
Harder to slow down. Yeah, we set out to walk 1,000